I'm chilling, man. Same shit.
We
Moving
live.
out, moving around, getting ready for this holiday stuff like everybody else.
Right. Appreciate having you on the dribble. Why don't
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me, man. It's good to see you, man.
No doubt.
Seeing you over there in SOBs and all that. Fucking with everybody. It's always good to see you being productive and doing your thing, man.
On the scene, man. Trying to keep packaging this hip hop in the purest form, so you're gonna always see me on the scene.
That's that alkaline stuff.
I appreciate you coming through. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Jo Pellegrino, man. What's up, man? Staten Island, New York's home.
Staten Island. I seen before I got on here, I seen the Closer to My Dreams freestyle and shit. That's my shit.
I can't believe you just said that because it came on when I got in the car. I went on YouTube and I didn't type that in. I was listening to some of the old soul. Actually, I was listening to When I'm With You, and then right after that, the Closer came on. It just came on right now. I can't believe you just said that.
That's a dope ass track. What inspired you
shout
to
out
go there?
Cornerstone. That's where that happened, man. I was up in Rob Cornerstone's office with my man TNT, my man London, and we up in there cooling out. And he come in there, he comes in the room. He says, "Yo, Joe, listen to this joint. This girl, she's coming out of I think she was in Canada or something like that. Coapole, listen to this." I was in the studio that night. I did it, man. And a lot of people always told me that was their favorite shit, man.
Yeah, that's that joint. That's that joint. Yep. Why don't you give my listeners some history on Jo Pellegrino coming out of Staten Island? What was it like establishing an identity coming out of Staten Island?
PHA, what up? I'll tell you what, bro. When it comes to hip hop, I just had to learn that you don't have to establish an identity. You just need to get your identity established. Running around in the projects with Shyheim, watching him do his thing. Running around trying to fit in and do what I do in such a racially tense time where it wasn't like that, bro. It wasn't like how it is right now. Things is different. This is rocking back then. It was hot. It was on and popping everywhere, especially on Staten Island. A lot of people, white boys were getting stupid busy. This is that era too. So this is where it's going back and forth and there's all this drama and all that. And I'm running around in the projects all day trying to say, where do I fit in? When do I get on the song? When do I do this and that? No, yeah, we did tons of work together and we did all this, but it's just none of it felt like that was what it was supposed to be. And it wasn't until the point where, for me at least, it wasn't a point until where Tommy Wilson, aka Wiggs, Shyheim's manager, who was managing me at the time as well, he's a mentor of mine. He's been like a father figure to all of us in a lot of ways. He told me, he said, "Yo, I got this dude on the other side. He had a deal with Capital. He's an Italian dude, Joe. He makes beats and all that shit, and he does his thing, and his name is, Chuck, Colodro or whatever. He ended up producing Forget About It. When I got with Colodro, he was more seasoned than me in the game. He had a deal. He had experience. He was messing with Jungle Nils and had a deal with these dudes in the harbor. And he learned from R&S just like the RZA and all that. He has his history. He said, "Yo, Joe, you need to fucking come back home with it and talk about who you are." And talk about, because look, everybody's running around talking about this and that and all this Italian shit anyway. Just do your thing and be who you are. Bring it back home. He's the one that told me to do that. And I did. And it felt natural because that's really who I was. It doesn't matter if I'm in the projects and I get in an argument, I'm calling someone a jerk off the same way I do out here. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I always carried myself the way I was. But it made sense and it all happened once I brought it back to the South Shore and I said, forget about it. All I had to do was say that once, bro. My whole life changed. Record deal, big advance, hanging out with all my favorite rappers and producers. My life changed. All because I just gave them a piece of me. And that's just a piece of me. Meaning, who I really was. So to anybody watching this that does their thing as an artist, he asked me before, what was it like trying to make solidify my identity? You just need to get your identity solidified. Be who you really are, and everything come into play, man. Word.
Okay. How long were you rapping before you went professional?
I started when I was I don't know. I started when I was maybe 11, 12 years old, messing around. I was in the booth by the time I was 14. And the very first time I went to the vocal booth was at my man Anthony Ash's house. There was an engineer there, Uncle Frankie, who's actually my cousin, came home from one of his state bids at the time. I told him I wanted to do music. I had zero experience. I was watching, Shyheim do his thing, but I never stood in front of a microphone yet. He came, he took me in there and told the engineer, "Yo, those dudes that sang Taino Tribe, they were in there. One of like Boricua Passe, them dudes." So the dude was like, "Yo, I want you to record my cousin." And he was like, "Nah, I ain't got time for that." And the crazy thing is, I was doing an hours to this, that, my cousin, he's one of them dudes, man. He told him, if you don't put them in the booth, you know, I'll crack your head open, I'll do this and that. And it's funny how that was the first way I wound up in the booth with someone, you know, telling somebody, if you don't put them in the booth, I'll crack your head open, all this other shit. And the first time in the booth that night, I did the joint with them guys. They pressed it to vinyl and it went. And they started playing it on a mix show radio and all this other stuff. It was like a house song with me rhyming on it.
Right.
So I actually, my first time in front of a microphone, I was fortunate enough for that to actually follow through. Because out of that house, Anthony Acid and Brutal Bill and them were actually making records and putting them out and had a music career. So I stepped right in some shit. You know, my cousin's a cool dude. He came home and just walked me right into it. And that's how it happened, bro. You know what I mean?
When I first started to hear your name regularly, it was kind of like simultaneously. I believe I seen you in a magazine or your name mentioned in a magazine, and then your name started to be on a lot of mixtapes. Remember the tangible mixtapes, you could look at the playlist and see who owned a motherfucker and shit like that. So
Missed
tell me
those.
how tell me how you was able to infiltrate the New York City mixtape circuit, because you was definitely one of the names that was associated with New York City underground mixtapes. I don't even know if they were so much underground mixtapes
Yeah,
because it
yo,
was
some
a
of
lot.
these mixtapes moved 1,000,000 copies. Clue and all them was selling millions of copies. You had this lady Sonia making CDs. These people making millions of dollars off their mixtape every month. Shout out Doo-Wop. Shout out. I'm not even gonna start doing this, man, because there's a million of them. That era right there is the illest era ever in music, because that's where the streets was literally telling you what to listen to, man. When you walk
Yeah,
down the block, they was outside every store, the CDs, rappers beating people up for their CDs and all this, and people selling CDs, and everything was about that. And to be a part of that, honestly, it's probably why I've been able to pull through these crazy times without a Chris Lighty or a Violator, may he rest in peace, without having a record deal like how it was. I'm indie now, bro. I'm
right,
able to pull through that, and all these people whisper and throw this word legend around and call me all these cool things and all that from that, bro. It came from that, because their
all
greatest
right,
memories were listening to mixtapes. No matter if they was in the hood or the burbs, they were in tune.
right.
Everyone knew about the new Desert Storm, the new this and that, the new 50 MCs, the new that. And it was the greatest feeling in the world. And just, I guess because I put a couple things out and people reacted to it and started asking for me, they started taking it more and more and taking my joints and putting them on the
Right.
mixtapes. Then by the time I signed with Chris, I started moving around. I was doing it before Chris, before I got with Chris, but I started moving around to the mixtapes and showing up and doing these freestyles. The crazy thing is, a lot of us rappers, some of the favorite DJs, they were paying us $700 to come through and drop verses for those mixtapes. At one
I was
point, I was
gonna
so
ask you. I was gonna ask you what was the process. How did you
I
you
never
end up so many places?
I looked at
So
it like a
after a while,
shooting
they
range.
started reaching out. They started reaching out, of course. After a while,
Yeah, they start yeah. And the crazy thing is, how do you reach out? We didn't even have cells and all that, bro.
MySpace,
Yo,
MySpace.
bro, we didn't have that neither, bro. That wasn't rocking when shit was really, really rocking. It wasn't even that. That you talking
Right.
2000? What you're talking about right now, MySpace and all that, 2006 and seven. I'm
Yeah,
talking
that's
99, 2000. That mixtape shit that was really crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2006. All that. That vibe was different. Fulton Street and all that, when everything was rocking and Tower Records and all that, that shit was crazy, bro. Just moving around, when you make yourself available and you put yourself in a spot where people are whispering your name and talking about you in the barbershop and on the corners and all that, and then the dude drops off the mixtapes and people tell him in the barbershop, yo, you need to get Jo Pellegrino on this, and then it happens like that, bro. They put the
right.
word out, they leave a number with the barber, I catch up with him. Man, I was going to see so many different DJs, man. It was all I existed for. When a motherfucker reached out to me, just like you, I respect you. You reach out to me, we're doing an interview. I wish we were sitting on, on couches talking, but we still here
Right.
doing what we do. I
Right.
always popped up on these DJs no matter where they were. I was in K Slay's, apartment that was 119 degrees, you know what I'm saying, in Harlem and shit like that, with the DMX pictures everywhere. I made my rounds. I did my stuff, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how I wound up on everything, because I showed up.
Was it a particular mixtape series that you can recollect that you had a mean run on that you was people was going after it?
I mean,
Probably two.
I really appreciate what happened with Clue. That felt great, man. Clue had me feeling like I was real important, man. Clue had the city really rocking, had the city really rocking me, man. And people were talking and whispering and guessing. He's from Brooklyn, he's from here, he's from there. It was a great feeling. I was young, shit was rocking. We didn't have cells, we didn't have social media, just people were talking, man. We drive by, yo, I wasn't the only one, I was one of many. I was one of many, on the come up kings doing this thing. But I was me, and I was from where I was from, and I was the only one from there, and the only one that looked and sounded like this. And so people had fun with it. New York was having fun with it. We had fun with it. That energy, man. That's that same energy. I'm sure even yourself when you get in the car and you're feeling fly on a nice day,
I'm
you close
feeling
your
it
eyes
right
for a
now.
minute. Yeah, and you could almost smell how you was back in the days. You could feel it all and just get that. That's why I say it's a young man's game. No, it just takes young man energy to do it. This isn't boxing. This isn't basketball, bros. You know what I'm saying? This is rap. And the only young man part about it is you gotta feel like a young man. You gotta have the young man energy. You
Check
understand?
this out. Let's say that you guys were a graduating class, the mixtape circuit. Who would you say was in your class?
Oh man, in my class, believe it or not, that's when Fabulous was running around doing the mixtapes. I came after the Bounce Squad and all that, so I can't say that was my graduating class. Um, I don't know, bro. A lot of people were making a lot of rounds. It was a lot of rappers were moving around back in the days. It was a large class, but I got left back. So I don't know. Maybe I erased a lot of people from my memory out of that graduating class because I got left back.
All right, we're gonna talk about that portion of your career, getting left back. Could you of course we got to talk about Violator management. Tell everybody how you ended up on Violator.
Man, I ended up on Violator simply by DJ Scribbles bringing me in the game, giving me my first release, commercial release, put me on his Traffic Jam album. Chris Reader, New York King, Club King, and all that, and him showed me love. Show you guys how important love is. Love makes everything happen. If it wasn't for them, showed me love, took me to Cancun, let me host all the major parties, do my thing for 30 days straight, be out there and all the who's and the what's. I was in the middle of all that while my New York shit was moving around on the mixtapes and people were really talking about me. I was fortunate enough to create a bidding war actually between every single major label out there. It was all bidding 500 and plus at the time. Going to all these different people and taking all these different meetings when I came home, just trying to figure out where I wanted to go. And my mother, who's deeply rooted in Brooklyn through the education system, works in a lot of the inner cities and stuff like that. So, which is a whole nother thing to talk about, but where I come from. She said to me, "Listen, I want you to talk to Trip. Trip is like family. These are beautiful people from Brooklyn." She said, "We're gonna go see Big Daddy Kane. Boom, there's history right there with Shyheim. So already the pieces to come together. We're gonna go to Marcy. Boom, my man Turf is in Marcy. I'm thinking about that. We're gonna link up with this dude Eric Nicks. Okay, so all the pieces are really coming together now. Now I wind up with Marcy, Eric Nicks, Turf, all this shit's coming together. And I'm mentioning Turf, Free Turf, because that was my man that was just there watching. He wasn't involved in the business. He was just there being supportive, rooting for me. He's a Marcy dude. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, the deal. Chris Lighty will go up in there, play the records and all the shit. They love it, and they like, yo, that Forget About It shit is a hit. If you take that and you go alter that and change that and switch that up a little bit, that shit's a hit. I was like, how are we gonna do that? I left, came back the next day with the record, and Chris was like, yo, he just kept saying, he's like, I don't want to, like, you're not Eminem, like, you're nothing like him, you know what I mean? But I don't want, it's like, yo, another Eminem. It's like, yo, he's like, yo, just spit something for me, man. If I like it, I'll sign you. If not, you know what I mean? It's no hard feelings. It's exactly what he told me, bro. He loved the record. He said the record's a hit. I like the way you look. I like the way you sound. You're incredible. You're talented. You have the whole package. There's gonna be a lot of headaches because they're putting a building behind this guy Eminem right now. All this other stuff. So I'm not really looking to get into all that other shit. All right. I spit my rhyme for him. Next thing you know, I was signed to Violator. We decided to go with them because although all these other major labels were exciting and dope, going to Violator was different. The whole rap game was in the office. He managed everybody.
Explain to my listeners who was all on the roster at the time when you got
Oh,
there.
geez, man, listen. Maxwell, LL Cool J, Tribe Called Quest, Fat Joe, Nas, Puff Daddy, Tweet, hold on, Mobb Deep, Capone and Noriega, Busta Rhymes, Tribe Called Quest, shit. I don't want to leave nobody out. Missy Elliott, Timbaland, all of our favorite producers, everybody, bro, just everybody. And going up there, they all up there every day. So life was a dream for me after that. I'm personable overnight with all my favorite rappers, making music in the studio with all my favorite producers, guys that get paid hundreds of thousands to do beats.
Right.
And life was a dream, bro. Life was a dream.
Word. So Violator was a management company. Once you signed to them, you had access to other people that was being managed by him too, of course.
Yeah, immediately we were all family. We were all in the same box every day, hanging out there. So all of a sudden, it's like, you can't tell who's more important than who. Although Missy sells this much and this one sells that much. Everyone's in there together, vibing. It's nothing to get it done.
Right.
Ideas would always come across the table and say, "Oh, Buster should get on this one," and the next thing you know, it just happens because they moved for the family. At the time, Violator was distributed through Steve Rifkin's Loud Records, so I was actually signed to Loud Records. Rich Isaacson and them. That was connected and distributed through Sony at the time. So my deal was through Sony, Loud, Violator.
Right. I heard other artists say that they had obstacles coming out of Staten Island trying to do business or become hip hop artists, not being a part of the Wu-Tang brand. Were you encountered with anything like that?
No, not at all. I mean, there's Wu-Tang and then there's everything else. You know what I mean? So if you're down with the Wu-Tang brand, your checks have a W on it. You know what I mean? When you're down with the Wu-Tang brand, you're on stage getting paid wherever they go. You're down with the Wu-Tang brand and all that stuff, that's your living. There's a lot of people that are down with the Wu-Tang brand, supposedly, that don't have the W on the checks, or ain't getting no checks and all this other stuff. And I'm not saying that outside of anything, that there's a lot of people that always ran around claiming Wu-Tang, out here, or claiming that this and that, and trying to depend solely on one of them reaching back and doing something for them. And that's just, to me, in any aspect, that's just not the move. I didn't do that. I brought it back to the South Shore. I did what I did. My big homies, my brothers, the Wu-Tang Clan, they guided me. They were there for me all the time. They watched over me, looked over me. They knew what I was doing, who I was doing it with, and they always showed love. But I never, ever leaned on them for that. In fact, my only goal was to do it on my own, so I could be my own entity. You know what I mean? I made comments like that in some of my bars. I brought it back to South Shore, did this and that, stuff like that. So no, I never encountered that. See, on Staten Island, there's everybody wants to be the big rapper. Nobody wants to be the big businessman. So we don't have many. There's only one person right now prominently running around in Staten Island who's doing a lot of business. You know what I mean? And he's doing well for himself, and I'm proud of him. But outside of that, there's not too many key people. My man L, who's sitting down right now, hopefully he'll be home soon. He was cracking the code for that, getting ready to do a lot of business for Staten Island, be able to somebody that you can go to, that also had his arms and tentacles throughout the music industry, to actually get things done. There's not many people that can get things done on Staten Island. And as far as that Wu-Tang stuff, I never had to deal with that, where someone said to me like, "Oh, you ain't with Wu-Tang, then I ain't showing you love," or is that what you're saying? Like, or you know, depending on the Wu-Tang brand for me to come out, for them to sign me or something like that. Is that what you mean?
Nah, I've interviewed other artists from Staten Island, and they just told me that they felt there was obstacles for them when it was time to do business because they weren't Wu Tang, or they felt they didn't get a fair shot. Something to
It
that
could be obstacles. Keep in mind, Wu-Tang had more obstacles than any of us. What do you think? What do they think the obstacles about? Because they don't like, because brothers is too tall. It's because brothers was doing tall shit. You know what I mean? And
nature.
that,
Right.
and they wasn't used to that height. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, all these years later, you hear people like Funkmaster Flex apologizing and stuff, saying, "Yo, they're the greatest rap group. I apologize, for whatever." They did what they did off their fans, because they kind of blew the whole aspect of they getting ready to be all shiny on the radio. They in the beginning they roughed and toughed that up for themselves, created lots of obstacles for themselves. Okay, so a lot of brothers out here that say that they got obstacles because of Wu-Tang, well, shit, maybe you should join your own gang. You know what I'm saying? And then you won't
Right.
have the obstacles created, by that one right there. You know what I mean? Um, people respect the Clan. They're the greatest rap group that ever did it.
Believe
But
that.
people also fear the Clan. If you want to fuck around, you fuck around and find out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? People know that. People know that, and so that's people don't like that scary shit. You know what I'm saying? So when Wu-Tang is for the babies, everything is smooth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I don't deal with no obstacles. For my brothers, I get nothing but great stuff happens for me as a man and an artist. From them. You know what I'm saying?
How long were you on Violator?
I was on Violator for about 3 years, three and a
I
half years.
I
Yeah.
seen in another interview you detailed probably like spending a lot of time with Busta Rhymes during that 3 years.
Yeah, Buster was like he was like my best friend the whole time, man. We were together all the time, every day. He was checking in, where we going, how we doing it.
Right.
You know, I learned a lot from Bus, man.
So, okay, you said you spent 3 years. What type of work did y'all do? Work together? Were you on like the Violator compilations and shit
Yeah, I
like
was
that?
on
I
the
remember.
Violator compilation album. I was on 3 joints on that. So Chris wanted to do Over Microphone Fiend. At first, I was like, "Yo, this is not a good idea." Of course, I love the record, but I was like, "I don't know, man." He was like, "What if I get Rakim in the studio and he makes the decision?" I said, "Oh man, all right, cool." You know, I wound up doing it because that's how we did it, and it's cool. But for the record, I did not want to do that. I did not want to touch that one. You know what I mean? That was one joint. Another one I was on there with Me Fabulous, Remy Martin, Red Cafe, and all that. That's on this Rap's New Generation joint. Did that, and then the other one is me and Corrupt and my man Peace, and that's called Grind Season. And I did a lot during the years I was signed to Violate. I traveled, I performed, I worked hard, spent a large portion of my budget over a few years just recording with all my favorite producers. You know, Dr. Dre's Camp, LT Hutton, these dudes, dudes like Self Service, DR Period, all these Just Plays and Alchemist.
Right.
I was just really going all around Neptunes, um, all that shit, Pharrell, I was just doing a lot of work and so much more, just working, building the project, building the product. Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what exactly was to the best of your ability, what exactly it was that strained your relationship out loud.
I would say when it was Loud Records was folding. Steve Rifkin was going through all sorts of stuff up there. Steve and his brother called me up there and told me, "Yo, we just want to let you know, you're not coming out through Loud Records. Loud is folded. We're going under." I was like, "What?" And then when I look back and at the time, Missy and Timbo were working with Bubba, and me and Chris had this thing going on. We're trying to get this record to flex and get things off the ground at this one point. And Chris kind of had to pump the brakes because I came through the Loud system. Loud was folding, and he had this Bubba thing on his plate. So he started pushing the Hungry record. At that point, this is all on me, bro. I personally feel I did the wrong thing. I should have sat tight. I was making myself hot. If you look right now, you see somebody saying something about the game. I think it was Whack 100 saying the game fucked around and made himself hot, which wasn't necessarily a good thing. It was good and it was bad. That's what happened with Gabe Cicero, my publicist. We made this JoJo thing hot too quick. Chris wasn't ready for that. He always used to tell me, "Why are you in the source? Why are you here? Why are you there? I'm not ready for that." So we were jumping the gun. You know what I mean? Plus, I got people like Eminem and Paul Rosenberg and Jay-Z in my ear telling me, "Come over here. We'll do this deal with you. We'll do that if you can get away." All that stuff. And I jumped the gun and I fought my way out of
Hold on.
violating
So,
management.
so when I was seeing you in the magazines, because
Let me
you were
finish.
in the magazines,
Yes.
you didn't have the music catalog. You didn't feel you had the music
Nah,
catalog or the
just the
accomplishments.
mixtape, just the mixtapes, and a really high-powered publicist who's still the best right now. He's better than ever with a vowel at the end of his name. So when he saw me, he went nuts. When he saw me, he went Gabe to Cicero. When he saw me, he went nuts. He said, "We going." Chris used to say, "I'm not ready." He used to,
Right.
joke around all the time, saying, I'm gonna fuck around, fire Gabe." You know what I mean? Because just joke because I don't want him working this hard right now. I'm not ready. What the fuck are we doing? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So I jumped the gun. I hope someone could watch this and learn from this, man. Don't ever jump the gun. If you find yourself blessed enough to be in a scenario like that, you sit tight and you let it play out because you're not the number one priority, especially if you sign to somebody like the late great Chris Lighty, who got all those responsibilities, all those artists. Don't forget Mobb Deep was signed to Loud. Loud is getting ready to fold. We sold lots of records with Mobb Deep, did lots of things with Mobb Deep. Chris got responsibilities. The JoJo burger is going to have to go on the back burner for a minute. But JoJo just wasn't seeing that. I wanted to go here, I wanted to go there. So I remember, I'll never forget when I was fighting to get my way out of Chris. And when I say fighting, I mean just being persistent. And Chris told me one day, he said, "Yo, is that really what you want? Is that really what you want?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "All right, then I'll let you go. We'll do the paperwork and I'll let you go." And it felt very strange when he said it. It's like I was asking for something the whole time that I guess I really didn't want. But I was excited to go to Jay. I was excited to go to M and Paul Rosenberg, who were
Right.
offered, was on the table.
Let
You
me
know what I
ask you.
mean?
Wow, this is did this record come after you was totally done with him, or while you was raising hell? You said he kept asking you, "Is this what you want?"
Did this record happen because they wouldn't let me go? and I really wish I would have just shut my fucking mouth, because it's like your big brother grabbing you in the headlock. I would have not fought to get out of that headlock if I could go back in time. Right. And I don't live with regrets. But what I did was, you know, I did that, you know, big mouth, you know, shit, went and rhymed and did a joint. I wasn't disrespectful, but I said some, you know, things like "let me go" and all this other type of shit. And that's when he asked me, "Do you really want me?" Then I guess that's what you want. I'll let you go. And he let me go. You know what I'm saying? And then I went back to Paul and them, and they said, "Yo, that was 6 months ago, Joe. That those funds have been allocated for." Boom, that was the pump fake. Went over to Jay-Z. "Yo, Joe, I'm getting ready to do this now and all that." Boom. Went around and fucked around and lost my chair in the game. Somebody else had their ass in it. You know what I'm saying? You know, you doing this shit. Okay, you know. All right. So that's what happened, bro. Now, I never could understand how I could ever finesse the process like my brother Red Cafe and go from one major deal to the next. But after that, it just seemed like people with me.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't going down like that afterwards.
I seen and something that I was looking at before we got on here. I think maybe it was a rhyme that you spit. You felt that you was blackballed at 25.
Nah, bro, that's how I felt then. I don't feel that way now. Looking back, I'm the challenger that looked great, that everyone was rooting for, that exploded before it got to space. Except that was an accident. This shit was on purpose. I did this to myself. You know what I mean? Word.
So what happened after Violator?
After Violator, I went to all these labels and everyone was talking a good one, but Eminem was rocking. And people did not want to see that again. And I kept going to Def Jam and telling them, "Yo, listen, man, this guy's going to crush your building, man." And I started telling Chris about 50 Cent and all this other shit before I got away from Violator. I was the one telling them. Dave had 50, but they were saying, no, no, no. I started pushing 50 like crazy to Chris. Chris was telling me, "Yo, don't fuck with him. You're going to get killed hanging out with him. I'm not fucking with that kid." He had some other words he was saying at the time, all this other shit. And next thing you know, as soon as I get away, he grabbed 50, brought him to M. I said, "Oh shit, you was telling me this and that, you know, all this other stuff." So I was running around trying to do as much as I possibly could. And my man came home. He started managing me. Man, he got right to it, man. He was amazing, bro. My man London. He was amazing. He started shaking it up in the real industry, right there, right under them same noses, Jay-Z's and Irv Gotti's and Leo Cohen's and all this other stuff. And we started getting it shaking, and then we had a deal on Def Jam with Ghostface.
Right.
And I was getting ready to do that. I don't know what.
You throughout our dialogue, you mentioned Eminem several times. How much did Eminem factor into your career as far as business decisions at that time during
Not at all. But as we're talking about at that time, I have to mention Eminem because not everybody was happy about that. People in the hip hop industry, you know, in New York, they wasn't happy about that. They wasn't a fan, and they wasn't like, you know, they was like, yeah, we don't necessarily want to recreate that type of that vibe. Not that you're anything like him, or you don't look like him or anything. We don't want a white rapper type shit.
Oh, hold on. Yeah. So you said when M came out, niggas wasn't feeling him in New York.
Nah, they were feeling him in New York, but in the record labels and all that other shit, motherfuckers, no, they wasn't feeling him. No, they wasn't feeling him. They had their chance to sign him. M went to all of those dudes. They wasn't feeling him. And they definitely wasn't feeling the fact that he was selling more than all their rappers put together. So I would figure that one of these dudes would want to level the playing field. I figured me and Kevin Lyles used to argue about that all the time. I used to say, "Kev, let me in, bro. Just let me get in there and level the playing field, do what we do." Because at that point, M was with 50 and they were crushing Ja Rule, and he was at Def Jam. I'll be with Ja Rule in the crack house, hanging out, watching him go through his stuff and all that stuff. You know, the studio was called the Crack House, and fucking with all these dudes and seeing what they're going through. And I'm thinking, how can I fit into this stuff, man? You know what I mean? I'm cool with him. We've always been very personal, very, very cool. Right. I got nothing but love and respect for him. If you listen to anything that you ever hear me say, even on a joint like Reaper, all that shit is just poking to get in. None of that shit is disrespect or violation. None of it. When you talk about a guy's beard or you say, "Yo," but these guys be going at kids and all this shit. I never violated that man because I never would. If I seen him, I'd be.
We got to talk about Reaper because I was gonna go. That was my next question.
Yeah.
All right. So give me some clarity on Reaper. Reaper was essentially a diss track to all of the active white rappers.
Yeah, because all the white rappers are talking and they all talking in these interviews and beefing with each other and who's better. How come nobody's mentioning the guy from the New York mixtape era?
Now check this out. This what I'm about to tell you. I was going to tell you this when you said that. Nobody ever equated you with white rap with the white rap.
That's a beautiful compliment, bro, and it means the world. It means the
He
world
was
to me.
never in the white rapper category.
You know, bro, that means the world to me, man. It really does. That's everything to me. However, when you do make music and you put it out there and you start thinking the business wise and projecting and marketing and all this other stuff and how we're gonna do this, things come into play, bro. And there's certain brands that would be quicker to mess with somebody that has this color skin or that color skin or whatever the case is. You understand? And I appreciate that because I don't see color and there are no color lines in this music thing. But when you get real intricate with these artists and you start to make it what it is, do you really think Jack Harlow would be doing so well if he didn't necessarily look like that? Do you think the way he looks and all that stuff, if that's not changing things, that has to be changing it, bro?
I think his look and his music, yeah, I think the look kind of like gives it like a shock value almost type of thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But he could be doing it on purpose.
He most likely is.
He could
Eminem
be
was.
doing it on purpose.
Yeah, yeah, most likely. But you know, that's a great compliment, bro, and I appreciate that, man. But you know,
Nah, nobody
then what? Then
put
what
you in
am
a.
I? Then
It
what
could have
am
been.
I? I'm not in the white category. I'm not in the white boy category. I understand that, and I'll never want to be mentioned in just that category. So what do you mention me in? And who's the best black rapper? Oh,
I'm
Joseph
just
Pellegrino.
saying, your nationality, the verdict on your nationality might have been vacant. So why don't you clarify your nationality while
Yeah.
we're here?
Okay. So my nationality. Everyone always thinks I'm 100% Italian. I have Italian blood, Irish blood, Spaniard, and Cherokee blood, bro. It's not all Italian, but I grew up Italian fashion. Everyone around me was Italian when I was coming up. All that other stuff. My every you know I have Italian blood. You know I move and think like an Italian dude. I do you know not just strictly, but trust me, whatever any ill Italian dude can move or think, I'm thinking and moving and seeing and the same shit, just like I can any one of this or that or this and that. But the thing is it's not just about that. It was never supposed to be like I don't want to be the Italian rapper. I really can't really visualize an actual Italian person wanting to rap. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I never wanted to be the Italian rapper. But yeah, you know, for all those people out there, it was like, yeah, Joe's 100% Sicilian and this and that. Nah, man, I got a few things. You know, I'm mixed with a few things. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, they said in the comments they just gonna put you in a rapper category and shit. They said
Okay, okay.
category. All right. So boom, the podcast. You still got the podcast out?
Nah, I haven't done the podcast in a minute, man. I'm gonna get back to work soon. You know what I mean? Right now, just working on all this new music, these new albums I'm getting ready to release. I'm excited about that. I got some real dope projects. You know, I just want to be able to put out a project where people could say, finally, what's going on in the world. And I don't just mean on the news. Things going on in the world reflects through the music, the way it did often when we were coming up. You know,
Okay. Tell me
and
what
that's
it's like working with Dame Grease. Because I was at the show.
what.
I seen the
First off,
performance.
he's a G. First off, that's my brother. He's official. Tons of history in the game. You know, working with him is like working with like, man, it's like however you feeling right there at the moment. You just let him know. Last time I seen him, you know, I spoke to him. You know, we were talking like, you know, we were fucking with each other the whole night. But then at that one moment, I told him, I said, yo, bro, it's been forever since I listened to somebody that I actually want to listen to. When we get in the studio next time and we work, produce that shit, bro. Tell me what's going on. Yo, Joe, I need you to do this. Because I'm always in control. And the good thing is when you get around a brother like Dame Grease, now you can let someone else take control for a minute. And all the great energy and all the great ideas, he could use me as a tool to get the greatest record done. Instead of me using him as a tool, I would rather him use me as a tool the next time we create in the studio to say, yo, Joe, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. You know what I mean? Rather than me just look for a beat that screws my face up and just go on there and kill it. Because there's nothing like a great record. There's nothing like a great production, and he's extremely capable of that. You know what I mean? That's what he's known for. So that's what it's like working with Dame Grease. It's like working with it's like a one shot, one kill with the deal. It's like working with a killer and you need somebody killed. You give him, you know, you hit him off and that person's gone. That's it. That's how it works. You know?
Tell me about the process that y'all went through to create this dope song, Go Time. I seen
Go
y'all
time.
perform.
Go
Yeah.
time is shout out my man Hands On. We were in the studio at the Meth Lab working on this you know, this joint. He's in there working on his album. He was excited to release it. And they're just shooting beats around and all that other stuff. And I said, yo, I got something for that. You know, and it wasn't even like a rhyme, it was just a hook. So I jumped in the booth and I started laying the hook down. And they were like, yo, keep that. Let's run with that. All that shit. I said, all right. So, we were just rocking to the beat, feeling it. Brothers was in there smoking, drinking a little something, vibing out, talking, building. And next thing you know, a great product, took place. You know what I mean? So shout out Hands. We'll get that Carthage album. It's out right now. And, I'm just proud to be on there. You know what I'm saying? Proud to be on there. Yeah.
Who, if you could name drop a few, name some of the artists that you worked with from Staten Island besides Hands On.
Oh man, well I work with all the entire Wu-Tang Clan, all of them. I got a new joint out with Meth. It's fairly new. It's less than 3/4 of a year. It's called Smoke. That's how I work with my big brother Ghostface, Raekwon. Inspector Deck, Capadonna. It's just all these guys. The RZA, Staten Island artist Shyheim, who was we didn't even talk about Shyheim. And Shyheim, well, just a little bit. Shyheim was everything to me coming up, man. That's where I learned it all. That's where all the inspiration, all the knowledge, and all the experience first came from at such a young age. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just blessed to be close to him. Shyheim, we work together. I've worked with Killer Army dudes. Same rounds as everybody. We got some of the illest MCs out here, man. A lot of the independent dudes. And I've worked with pretty much all of them. You know what I'm saying?
How you feel about the climate in music right now? Whereas it seemed like this is a great time for someone of a hands-on demographic. That demographic, the guys who was on the stage that night, think it's a
That
great
demographic.
time. Yeah, I think it's a
Now
great time.
yeah. I think you mean that demographic, meaning brothers that get a little bit, like we're not in our 20s no more type shit.
Right.
The thing is it's still whatever type of music you want to make. Hands On makes really great hip hop music. There's brothers that age that make a different type of music or whatever that might pop off this way or that way. So what do I feel about the climate is, first off, whatever you're bringing to the table, is it unique? Is it different? What do I feel about the climate is a lot of dudes that once they get into a certain age, they say, I don't do this no more. Nas, the greatest, has put out so many albums back to back recently. And on that, run, he's telling brothers constantly, yo, listen, man, don't worry about being competitive or keeping up with the trends. I want to hear your art. Let me hear your art.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I see a lot of rappers that are in their 30s and 40s, including myself, going harder than ever. And I feel like it's a great thing, but we all have to make it work. Gotta make it work. How do you make it work? Take it to the highest peak of success and projecting yourself to the highest level of what you do. And as far as myself, musically, I'm able to do a lot of stuff. So I'm looking forward to not just giving people what they want and putting out joints and hip hop joints, bro, but taking it to the next level and showing them what I could really do music wise. You know what I mean? And then I would revisit that question in my mind. Now, what do I think about this demographic? Because if I fuck around and it becomes a hit record, demographic changes, bro. Open Gangnam Style. What demographic is that? 3 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old. That guy looks like he's about to heel over and die, the one that sings it, when he's not dancing. So when you have something that's hitting and moving, the game changes, bro. And make no mistake, I've never been content with just putting stuff out. Got to change the game. Something magical has to happen sooner or later, bro. You know what I mean? That's the goal.
Do you have a preference on producers?
Preference. I like working with producers that are musically inclined rather than beat makers. You know what I'm saying? Although beat makers could be amazing, they have a great ear and they're also musically inclined in their own right. But working with a guy who could just get on the keys and just start ripping is crazy. You know what I mean? And a guy who knows that this needs live bass on it, and a guy who knows that these drums ain't hitting the right way yet. I take the production process very serious, bro. I don't like to pick beats that already been played for people. I like to make things on the spot with the producers, whether he's a guy that plays instruments or whether he's got the MPC. And I like to start stuff from scratch, but it's all a vibe. And I like to work with other artists and producers that could work good under pressure. We're here working. You don't have to worry about me writing a rhyme at home. We're here. You don't got to go home and adjust the snare. We're here. Everybody just light up, do what you do, cool out. Let's get the music going. Let's get the energy going. That's how we do it. You know what I'm saying?
I seen it, in researching this interview, preparing myself for this interview. I noticed that you got very few interviews and a lot of fucking bars. Like you just go around just slaying shit, man. That's just
Yeah, bro. It's been a while since I've done interviews. I really don't have a publicist working for me right now. I'm going to in a minute. I haven't been really just, these podcasts and stuff. I respect you, bro. I enjoy doing this because I have respect for you. I know who you are, bro. You understand? When I first saw you the other day, you were standing to one of the people I love more than anything in the world, and he was holding you to high regard. This is a pleasure. But to be jumping on people's Instagrams and all that other shit, I don't like to do it. I don't want to talk. People are funny the way what they look for anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I like to build with brothers like yourself and build with people that understand the culture and hip hop. Or just what it's like to be a creator and just catch a vibe. You know what I mean?
Right.
So until I'm really doing a run, doing a lot of interviews, it'll catch up sooner or later. But right now, I haven't been doing tons of them.
Was the Joe Budden interview, was that what actually triggered Reaper?
Nah, what triggered Reaper was
it.
just watching too many people stand around talking about white rappers and going like this. Are there any more? I can't think of any more. Is there Brooklyn, Queens? Man, stop, knock all this shit, man. I rap circles around every last one of these fucking dudes, man. When I was 17, that's light work, easy.
Right.
I ain't never heard nobody would in any of that realm that ever blew my mind. Not even fucking once. Blew my mind. A few of them got off and spit their verses, and I say, wow, that was amazing. They're all incredible. They're all talented. They're all amazing. But they don't blow my mind as an artist. That's
Right.
in my mind, that's the word. This is where I come in. You know what I mean? So to watch these dudes standing around talking about all these stupid ass white rappers and not mention my name, I take offense to it. I'm like, man, fuck this. This rap shit, you're supposed to be, I'm cool now and I'm humbling myself, but you're supposed to be a big mouth. Fuck you, I'm the best. This and I did this, I did that, I know this one and that one. I don't really do too much of that. But if you don't do that, motherfuckers don't know. So I try to quietly show them, but this is hip hop, bro. This is everything. This is snapping in back of the building, going to war in back of the building, snap the corners in the elevator. This is a whole spectrum of games, man. And you got to be competitive and you got to have your chest out. So, that's something a lot. Maybe that's another reason why they call it a young man's game, because young men do that a lot. Us dudes, we get a little older. We cool out, but
after I already announced it on my platform. After that performance at SOBs, I have proof. I have video proof that hip hop is not a young niggas game. It's a veterans game. The veterans is the niggas that's good at it. After I left that show, I told my shorty, I said, man, you see that shit? I said,
but you know what?
Take that shit serious. Like, y'all took, I'm like, man.
Now we take it very, very serious.
I film rappers. Niggas don't take that shit as serious as the people who are in that room that night.
No, we take it very serious, especially Staten Island, always feeling like the forgotten borough and shit like that. Staten Island is always repping, and we do take this very serious. But if you put two individuals there, and one of them's 18 and the other one's, 35 years old, and you put one camera and you say, tell me everything you did in the game, that little guy's gonna go off. Yeah, I be knowing this was my cousin. I know I was in the studio with this. I did that. I did this. I did this. All that. While the other guy's quiet and misses his opportunity because he doesn't want to sound like a big mouth talking about all the big name producers he worked with and rappers he worked with and what deal he had and how much it was for and all that other stuff. And a lot of times you really got to remind motherfuckers, because on the outside of the culture, it's just popcorn. And motherfuckers want to eat that popcorn and see what's going on. And if you ain't seeing nothing great, so you got to let them know. This is why they say things like, talk your shit, JoJo. Talk your shit, they tell people, because once you start talking that big guy shit, all your experiences and everything, then they start rooting for you. I don't do that often personally as a man, but I used to do that a lot as an artist. I need to be back on that shit. And that's why maybe Reaper took place, because I didn't remind motherfuckers for too many consecutive years. I didn't remind them and let them know. You know what I mean? And you got to remind them. You got to let them know, bro. You have to let them know.
Somebody said in the comments, young niggas can be controlled and they just get all the opportunities because they are more controllable. I will say this. The people that was in that room that night, they never stopped. They never switched. They never switched their craft, their element. Like everything, the dress code, everybody in there was dressed alike. I was telling my shorty, I was like, man, this shit crazy, man. I'm 46. I'm 46, right?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of niggas in there older than me, man. I'm like, man, you never seen so much Polo and Wallaby Clarks and shit like that.
Yeah.
Them niggas is in here tonight, yo. They not fucking around,
Everybody came. People love this shit, man. And that's what's beautiful about hip hop, bro. is that it could be done by anybody, anywhere. It don't matter. It don't matter what, how old you are, what you look like, or whatever, because there is a market space and place for everything.
Yeah.
For everything.
I had to think about. I put it in perspective. I said, the older MCs, the veteran MCs, should not be made to feel insecure because they still rapping. Because if you look at it technically speaking, this shit belonged to them. The niggas that was wearing Clyde suede Pumas in 1982, they got gray in their fucking beard now. Them niggas got gray in their beard now. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't stop being b-boys. Like that's a fucking b-boy. That's a 55-year-old b-boy. He's a graph artist. Right. Like, you gotta understand the era that these guys came up in. They don't know anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
You're damn right, bro.
We're gonna award who's the most skilled at it, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of artists out there that are older that don't play, man, and keep doing their thing, and they keep staying consistent and keeping themselves relevant and keep putting their merchandise out and going from place to place and moving around, working their product, man. And that's the most beautiful thing in the world, man. This is why I still do what I do, bro. This ain't the same. When I first came on and I first used to do this, I used to say to myself in the mirror, "You're gonna be the biggest. You're gonna be the best. You're gonna be the biggest. You're gonna be the best." That same shit that Kanye West used to scream in my face in the studio. "I'm the best. I'm this and that." I used to look at him like he was nuts. He used to scream how he was the best. "I'm the best rapper. I'm gonna be the best." You should have heard him, bro. Just like this, ready? But me, I'm gonna be the best rapper and the best lyricist ever with the best beats and the best thing. Yo, see this tattoo here? It's empty now. It's all gonna be full, Joe. The whole thing's gonna have all records. This one says Song Cry and H to the Izzo. This ain't shit. This is gonna be this and that. You know why? Because I'm the best. I'm gonna be this and I'm gonna be that. Just Blaze next door. His beats can't fuck with mine. And I'm listening to your album. This shit is hard, but you can't fuck with me. This is what this dude was saying. And I'm looking at him like, yo, bro, like, are you kidding me? But that's how you got to be. That's how you got to be, bro. And you can't tell him nothing. You know what I'm saying? I was there for that, bro. I was with that kid all the time. I was there when he signed his deal at Def Jam. He had on a red Adidas jumpsuit. I forgot it was Adidas. Yeah, yo, bro, I remember these memories. These kids was amped on themselves. Kanye West would have told you he was better than whoever the fuck you would have been talking about that day. And look where he put himself.
Understood. Fuck that.
Word.
2023 is over with. This is the final quarter. How you plan to kick off the new year?
Top of the new year, I want to drop this album. It's called Light Color Sound, man. Like I said, it's more of a reflection of what's going on in the world, right now. It's some grown man rap, some real ill conceptual stuff, really high-powered production, man. I got a lead-off single called Turn Around. You know what I mean? It's produced by my man Phantom of the Beats, a.k.a. Haz G, the UMC. See how I take it back home, bro. I've been working with all sorts of producers, but I made sure I took it back home.
I fuck with them. When I'm on here speaking about hip hop being a veteran's game, I'm thinking about Kool Kim the whole time and shit.
Oh, Kool Kim's my brother, man. Such a talented bro.
Nice.
He is dead stupid nice, man. He's dead stupid nice. Yeah. Too bad we didn't have him on the phone before when you were saying, Joe, we don't put you in the white rapper category. We could have asked him, where do we put Joe? Where do we put Joe? You put him over here with us. Put him over here with us. He's good over here. Whatever Kim says, But yeah, man. Shout out to UMCs, man. Shout out to Staten Island. So I'm getting ready to put this album out. I'm gonna drop some singles, drop some videos, all that other stuff, and just move towards the new year, releasing lots of new music. I'm gonna get up with my man Gabi, you know what I'm saying? And we got this we got a whole album full of big monster records that we're working on together that we want to get out there in the top 40 world and all that shit. We got a lot of stuff that I'm aiming for, bro, that I'm really excited to do. But by all means, I'm going to apply myself and put a lot of effort and strategical work into this, into being the best version of me that I possibly could be. So you never look or sound delusional or feel delusional. You're doing what you're doing and you're really doing it. And there's nothing like people running down on me that I love, or people that I don't know that tell me, I don't know how you do it, Joe. They say it all the time, I don't know how you do it. That's good. To me, that's the best compliment. Right. You don't know how I do it. I don't either, but I do it. And you want to do something that nobody knows how the fuck you're doing it. That's good enough for me, bro. You know what I mean? If I could do that now, if I could get rich doing it, that'd be great. You know what I'm saying? That's the plan. If I could pull up other people I care about and do other things, and you and I could do some great things together in the future, and we could all, spread our wings, that would be even better. But that is, make no mistake, my goal. I'm not looking to feed the underground one record after the next. I'm not looking to do features with all your favorite lyricists and all that shit until I fucking heal over and die. I'm looking to put out monster records and try to move the needle, bro. Push the envelope. You feel me? That's what my plans are for the top of the year.
Great.
And my actions will reflect.
Great. Tell my listeners where they can find you at, how they can keep up with
Well, right now I'm at the Staten Island Mall. I'm in the I'm in the C2 is the parking spot. I got you know, go on Instagram, man. Jo Pellegrino, JoJoPellegrino, man. I'm on Twitter, JoJo Pellegrino. I'm on TikTok, JoJo Pelly. You know, just stay up with me, man. You guys know where I'm at, man. I'm right here right now. YouTube is the Television channel. Go over there and subscribe right now, please, man. Got a lot of new content coming out. Hey, yo, my bro, I appreciate this opportunity to talk with you and chop it up with you, man. Yeah. You know, I wish I was out there with you, man. You know, we made it happen the best way possible.
Yeah, we're gonna get together at the coffee shop sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna see you over there at the Ghostface Killer spot, bro.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yo, to all the listeners and everybody, I'm looking at some of your comments now. My bad that I'm over here talking to my man, so I ain't really get to go too deep into the comments. You know, but shout out everybody in the comments, man. Somebody saying this content is crazy. Gentlemen's card, okay. Shout out everybody, man. All right. Peace to all the listeners and the fans, the ears. Go check out the new music. Shout you out, my bro. Thank you for this opportunity, man.
Yeah, my man. Appreciate you.
All right, bro.
Peace.
Peace.